As well, we talked to you in the spring about transitioning to center. You said you wanted to put as many hours into it as you could, and Coach Sweeney was saying you really haven't had any bad snaps. So, how many hours in this summer did you really get to put into doing that?
I mean, a lot. I mean, I don't have a very exact number, but I mean, about every day. I mean, when we were working out, after workout, snapping balls, and I would have to attribute a lot, not just to myself, but also my teammates as well, because I can't just snap the ball to myself, right? I need other guys to catch it and help me out too. So like guys like Ryan, Trent, DJ, like the quarterbacks as well. I mean, they helped me out a lot too because it was very, very time consuming, but I mean, it's worked out well. So, I mean, a lot of hours snapping.
Yeah. Was it pretty natural, or was there any kinks you had to work out?
I think it was. I feel like it was pretty natural for the most part. There's just kind of some things, just thinking, kind of keeping the ball center in front of you. I'm right-handed, so when I step right, not letting like my release point differ from when I'm stepping, stuff like that. But I mean, pretty natural for the most part. I didn't have too many issues.
What do you think it'll be much different just being in a live game with the fan noise and everything else trying to communicate on the offensive line?
Well, communication, sure. Yeah, I think communication, yeah, it'll be a little bit more of a challenge communicating in front of live fans. But when it comes to just playing the center position, not much. Because I mean, I personally believe that. I mean, I get the best preparation week in, week out with the guys I play against, and I don't think there's many guys better than that. So when it comes to playing center, I feel prepared, and I'm not really too worried about it at all. I feel great. When it comes to communication, I mean, you got to remember. I mean, this is day one of game prep. And obviously we've been prepping, but this is game week starting today, and we've done a great job improving our communication. And I definitely see ourselves continuing to do the same. And then that's another just part of the job at center is you have to take that responsibility because at the end of the day you're the one that is going to be accountable for if a call's made or not. So just kind of owning that.
Can you talk us through a little bit of like that process and how you went about learning it? Like, is it a sit down one-on-one you with your coach? Like, how do you learn not only making the calls, but then like also holding the ball, snapping it, finding what works for you, what works for your quarterback, what works for Cade versus DJ, and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say a couple of things to that. I would say first off, learning like the calls and what to do didn't really take me much time at all because I played guard since I've been here, and to try to be the best you can at guard, I mean, you should know who you're playing next to and what they're doing. So, I mean, I already knew every play what the center's doing. I know every play what the guard's doing because I'm playing guard, and I know pretty much every play what the tackle's doing as well. So that helps a lot too. And then also I think last year a little bit with, Matt Bockhorst coming in and eventually getting hurt, and then we kind of shuffled things around a lot, like in the interior, especially at the center position. Me being kind of the veteran guy in the interior side of the line, a lot of times, I mean, I kind of took that responsibility on myself too to kind of make those calls and just help them out a little bit. Because let's say if we're going on like a silent count and the center has his head in between his legs, he can't really see what the defense is doing, the shifts and stuff he's making. So it's really up to the guards to kind of make those calls. And also I just felt like Coach Caldwell at the time prepared us well, learning the schemes and stuff like that. I would say when it comes to kind of snapping the ball, I mean, I just asked Coach Austin, and I just asked him because I know he played center. So I just asked him, hey, Coach, how do you snap the ball? Teach me how to snap the ball. And then that's pretty much what
it sounds kind of funny. But
It's a good question. Guys hold it different ways.
Yeah.
Like some guys do what Coach calls it the pendulum and snap it back there. Some guys hold it and put all four of their fingers on the laces. And then a guy like me, I like putting my top thumb on the top of the laces and kind of flicking it back there. So it just kind of depends, I guess, per person. And then when it comes to the quarterbacks, I mean, just getting up there. I mean, I would say a good snap from a shotgun snap is probably above the belly button, probably like below the eyes. Just do that, and then that's their job to catch it as well. And then if we're going under center, just getting that thing back there, hitting their hands, and it's their job to grab it and do the rest with it. So.
You played beside Walker quite a bit last year, right, when you were at guard.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice having him move into guard, and he's still beside you. You still maintain that kind of chemistry.
Yeah. I think it's very good getting that chemistry and that synergy. Kind of like what I was saying earlier. If let's say it is a very crazy game environment, and it's very loud, and the center has to put his head between his legs to get the calls and stuff like that. I mean, I'm going to rely on Walker to kind of, I guess for that time being, take over making the calls and points and stuff like that as well. And I think he's excited. I think he's excited to kind of move in, play guard, different position, new challenge, kind of like I was moving from guard to center. And I think he's really looking forward to that too. And obviously, I played next to him last year. That's my roommate, lived with him, one of my best friends. So I'm really, really looking forward to playing next to him and getting after some.
What's it feel like preparing for this game? You guys kind of almost feels like from the outside, you guys have some different things to prove and some things to unveil. What's it feel like inside that locker room as you look at this Monday?
Yeah, I would say this Monday it's almost a sense of refreshment in a way, because if you think about it, ever since we played Iowa State, we've only been playing like physically against Clemson. Like I've only gone against the defense, and I think it's also very, very unifying in a way too. In the locker room, I mean, we've always been a team, but during camp, obviously we're just banging heads each and every day against each other, and almost in a way it kind of forms that like that's the other team, When now it's truly a unifying thing is like, hey, let's go guys, let's get together. And I think it's just very exciting as well. I think guys are really excited, as I am, for this Monday. Truly starting the season, getting in the game week, mental Monday, it's no good Tuesday, working man Wednesday, all that stuff, and building up to what's going to be a great game that everyone's looking forward to.
We've seen Blake Miller starting at right tackle. What have you seen from him in terms of his growth from the spring to the summer till now?
Yeah, I think he's just more comfortable. Because in order to play fast, you need to know the plays and you need to know what to do. And he's definitely more comfortable in our offense, in our schemes, learn those little idiosyncrasies on certain plays and kind of the differences in that. And I think he's just become more confident as well. The more time he's been able to practice, and like I said earlier, against our defense, which is really good, the more time he's been able to practice against them, I think the more confident he's been. And to play good, you have to be confident in your ability. And I think at first, which was the same for me being a freshman, especially mid-year, because, you should be in high school, it can be a little bit daunting in a way, coming right to college, especially a place like Clemson. But I think he's just gotten more comfortable and just more confident in his ability.
Yeah, at the beginning of the spring, Dabo, I think, notably mentioned we would be interested in potentially getting a transfer to help the offensive line. Did you guys take that as a challenge at all, and does it feel like you guys accomplished something, the fact that there's no new guy sitting in here now that came in from the portal?
Yeah, I would say in a way. I think I think so, but in the same time, with the talking about transfer portal or not, I think we always feel challenged up front. I think we didn't really even necessarily need that from Coach Sweeney to say for us to feel challenged, because in our eyes the offense kind of runs through us up front. Because for us to, pass the ball well, we have to block well. For us to run the ball well, we have to block well. To really, truly grow an offense and a team, I believe the O-line needs to be that center unit. They need to kind of be on the forefront of the culture of team, unity and stuff like that. But we definitely had a challenge coming into this offseason. And right now I feel like we're at a good spot. I'm not saying that we're satisfied or by any means. But we're just, like I said, we're definitely excited to go in the season. I thought we did well throughout camp. Like I said, we're playing against one of the best defenses in the country, and we did well. We did well. During our scrimmages, when it was time to compete, we competed. And that's what I always say is, like, yes, we are lucky to go against the defense that we have, but I really feel like this year they're also lucky to go against the O-line that we have as well, because we've truly made strides.
What do you think all the guys on the offense feel about all the blame that DJ took last year?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's just kind of part of the quarterback position. It's just, they're going to get, something goes wrong, they're going to get all the blame. Something's go right, they're going to get all the glory. But us as a team, we never blamed him for anything, because as a team, everyone has to take ownership and accountability for all of our success and all of our failures. It has to be unconditional. And some of it, it's not fair. It's not fair to DJ, because, like, passes, for example, it's not always on the quarterback. It can be on the wide receiver running the wrong route. It can be on us up front for not having the best protection that we could have had. and then sometimes he just might make a mistake, which we all make mistakes. But yeah, I think that's something that we're also rallying around this year a little bit more, because I mean he's a great player, he's a great teammate, we love him, and we want him to do well. And I think that's also another thing up front that we've kind of taken as a challenge upon ourselves, is to do what we can to put him in the best opportunity for him to make the most plays.
Did you ever see a change in his demeanor, maybe after Georgia or at any point last year?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, during the games, I never really see him, because during the games, I'm blocking the whole time. Yeah, like if I'm turning back and I'm looking at DJ and how his pocket presence, I mean, I'm in trouble, and he's probably in trouble too. So I mean, it's hard for me to really comment on quarterback play, because even in practice, I mean, I'm never really watching him. I just see it as the wideout catcher. Does he not catch it? And at the same time, who knows? Was that the correct route? I don't know necessarily our routes and our pass schemes as well. I just know our job up front is to block the best we can. But I mean, he's always been poised. I mean, he never lost his cool once. His body language was always great. He didn't really show any weakness or any sign of disappointment through his body language, and that's what I can see. And yeah, I mean, I'm proud of him. He's definitely come a long way. I mean, you can tell just looking at him. He's lost some weight. He's looking great, and I know he's excited too. So I'm going to be looking forward to seeing him Monday night.
Well,
Coach Sweeney has talked about DJ as being an unquestioned leader on the team. Is it because he didn't point fingers and things like that you guys see him in that light, or is it something else?
Yeah. I mean, I would say so. And also, I think one of the most powerful leaders are the ones that lead by example. And good leaders make others believe in them, but great leaders make others believe in themselves. And I think that's what DJ does. He makes others kind of believe in themselves, kind of going back to his body language, which is huge, because those nonverbal cues are one of the biggest things that you really see, especially being up front. Because like I said, I'm not watching him play in the backfield. I'm just seeing more so how it is off the field. And he's always carried himself really well. And yeah, always carried himself really well. In the summer, always encouraging guys to be better. He makes me want to be better. He makes other guys want to be better. Yeah.
Going back to the transfer portal, how much pride do you guys take in the fact that Coach Sweeney doesn't take transfers? I mean, other than Hunter Johnson, who was obviously here before, but so many schools taking like 15, 20 guys from the transfer portal. Alabama's even doing it. Is there more of a sense of a brotherhood, just the fact that y'all have been in this culture since y'all were freshmen?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I would say, Coach told me that during recruiting, and during recruiting, that was a big reason also why I came here, because I felt like, hey, if I'm here and I put the work in, for me at least, I didn't feel like it was right to bring someone over top of me when I've been working here and doing grinding where I could. And Coach said that's how Clemson is. That's the program that's been built, and I feel like it's good to say that's been pretty reliable as well. So yeah, 100%. I mean, I think guys take pride in it. And I think it builds the culture that we have as well, and I think it kind of keeps everything together.
Walker was saying that going to the Georgia game, that you guys learned pretty quick that you were not ready as an offensive line yet after that experience. When you come into this year, obviously you have a bunch of guys in different spots, but 4 returning starters. I mean, do you have a better feeling of being better prepared going into this first game, do you feel like, than last year?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I felt prepared going to the Georgia game too. I mean, I've never hopped in a game feeling unprepared. For me personally, I mean, obviously now sometimes it might not end up being how you want it to be, but I mean, between going into this game versus going into Georgia, I mean, for me personally, I don't really feel any different prepared. I felt really prepared going into that game, and you know what? I didn't play as good as I could have, and that's what happened. I feel really prepared going into this game, and I'm excited to play. Now, I'm not fully ready yet, but I don't have to be because I'm going to play until Monday, but I will be. And I feel like that's just kind of sometimes how it works, unfortunately. And I mean, I treat every opponent the same too. I think anyone who's willing to be your opponent should be respected. Now, it shouldn't be feared, but should definitely be respected. And I mean, I respected Georgia just as much as I respect Georgia Tech in this upcoming game, because I mean, they're a worthy opponent, and it's going to be a challenge regardless. We're not going to lay down, but I think we're ready for that, and I'm excited for it.
Take about 2 more for Will.
What do you, speaking of the Georgia defensive front that you faced, comparing them to the guys you've been beaten up with in practice the last few weeks. How do you think this defensive front compares to that one that just won a national title?
I mean, they're great. I mean, because I would say the one thing about Georgia's D-line last year, that was something that's just, man, they had depth. They had depth. They had guys, their ones, their twos, threes, they had depth. And I would say that's something that our defensive line especially has this year. I mean, we got depth. We got guys that can play. I mean, it's not just the guys who run out there first that can play. It's the guys behind them too, and the guys behind them too. So I would say that was the biggest thing that really set Georgia apart last year, and I think that's one similarity that our D-line has with that as well. It's just depth.
Anybody from Zoom for Will? John, you have a last one? Go ahead.
Just really random one. Coach Sweeney was saying on a recruiting visit that you had these buckets of concrete at your house that you would take
Yeah.
from the garage up to the driveway and back. Can you tell us what that's all about?
Yeah, so I mean, growing since I was a kid, I mean, maybe since I can remember, my family's just big on like garage gyms, having our own stuff, and a lot of it's kind of DIY, kind of do it yourself type stuff. So that sandbags, take old. My dad was in the Army. Take old Army bags, fill them up with sand, stuff like that, and all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's just good. I think just picking up something heavy and walking with it and putting it down is a great translation for O-line. Just putting weight on your back and moving. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing, on the field. Essentially, it's just we're putting on pads. It's probably 20 pounds, and then I'm trying to block a guy who's probably 300 pounds. I'm trying to move him from point A to point B. So I think kind of training like that does really well. I mean, I've even built some sandbags and have them at my house here in Clemson, in my garage, and I like throwing them around and stuff too. And I think it's just good. It's just good conditioning as well. Kind of doing that, I guess, kind of tactical strength, functional strength. It gets you stronger. It's good conditioning. It's just tough. I think it builds you up mentally too.
All right. Thanks, Will.
Thanks.